I am Marwan Cameron, and this is The Conduit. All right, y'all. I know I haven't been on here in a minute, but I'm back. We gotta talk. We gotta talk. Sucks to be you. I know I wouldn't want to be you. It sucks to be you. So derogatory. See, what you doing? Sucks to be you.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
All right. Man, let's get this show going. What's going on? Rev, tonight, sucks to be you. Going in. So let's get right on into it tonight. Glad you can join me. I'm going to tell you right now, hit dogs holler. So if you're feeling some kind of way, it might just be you. It sucks to be you. Why do I say that? Yeah, I know you're a hat person, right? You know, I got ball caps too, man. You know what I'm saying? I got it all. I just, I got a certain image of who Marwan is, who Mr. C is. And, I don't give a damn what anyone else thinks about how I look and how I dress. And, I am who I am. I don't fit in, I fit out. That's what it's all about. Let me put on my glasses. Sucks to be you. It seems so counterproductive for me to do a show where I am attacking folks. Sucks to be you. Especially this whole week, I've been saying, hey, Section 8 waiting list is open. Sign up now. Get your Rent Cafe on. Sign up for your Section 8. 1,000 people signed up on Monday. Thuggish. No. This is MC, not Mr. C. This is MC, Sign up for your Section 8. It's going to close. 2,000, almost 2,000 people by Wednesday. Who knows what the number will end at by tomorrow at 4 p.m. So, make sure that you sign up for your Section 8 opportunity. Sucks to be you. I have so many conversations with so many people and, I get it. It's hard out here. It's tough out here. It really is. And, there's a lot of good nonprofits out here and organizations and individuals that are, compassionate and sympathetic. Some are even empathetic on what you're going through. However, when times get tough, people have to start circling the wagons. And while they may want to help you and they even, hey, how you doing there, April? Their heart is compassionate for you and they want to help you. Charity starts at home, right? That's what the Bible says. It's what my dad taught me. Charity starts at home. Through COVID, we watched, although the government did release resources, organizations, churches became more and more strapped. They couldn't continue to help at the level that they could help. And that's tough, right? Now we seem to be, are we post-COVID? We're not post-COVID. I think I just saw on the news that COVID is up in 40-something states. It was either 44 or 46. Man, we're coming into summer. We're not even coming into flu season. What's happening? Sucks to be you. So with the resources being so finite, with us dealing with inflation, how are your stocks doing? I know mine took a hit. That's even if you have stocks, right? We can get into classism later, but hey, it is what it is. Sucks to be you. Can't give your baby formula. Although I will say what's ironic about that is the images that I see that the shelves are empty of a certain formula, but I see a whole bunch of other brands there, and I'm like, are those brands just really bad? I don't know. I haven't had to deal with the formula thing for, quite a few years now, thank the Lord. But I'm like, do they not want the Western family formula? Am I missing something? Because there is formula there. Thank you, April. But it sucks to be you. Congress just approved $40 billion for Ukraine. President just needs to sign it. Sucks to be you. What I don't think people realize is how dire things are. And unfortunately, we don't want to hear about how bad things are going to be, right? We want to put our head in the sand. I can't deal with that stress. I can't control that. I can't think that far out. I just got to live for today or live for tomorrow. The writing's on the wall. Crabs in a pot, slowly boiling. You have less and less and less. I was having a conversation earlier about, a son and the world that he has inherited and how difficult it is for him and how I'm sure their parents or his parents did not think that he would be entering into the world in the state that it is now. So what do you do? In a lot of ways, we're in uncharted territory. The problem is COVID fatigue, right? It's a thing. We're just fatigued from suffering, period. We want to forget. We're dealing with so many things. It can be difficult to think about tomorrow, next year, 2 years from now, 4 years from now. Sucks to be you. I really want you to do the math on it. Last Wednesday in our housing discussion, we talked about why isn't there more affordable housing in Kitsap? And to that end, nationwide, right? And there really were no good solutions. There were reasons on why there isn't. But there is really no way to reverse the situation that's happening. Sucks to be you. The rent is too damn high. We've been saying that for a decade? It's just getting higher. There's different factors unique to this county, which cause them to raise, but it's the same thing everywhere else. Where are you going to go? Tacoma, Seattle? There's a company that just laid off 1,200 people by Zoom. Told them, don't even come to the office. We're going to pack your stuff up for you. Yeah, there's eviction assistance, but that is a finite amount of money. And we know politically, no matter whose side you're on, or even if you're on no side, it's going to affect you. Midterms are coming up. Typically, the Republicans will say, hey, Biden wasted a lot of your money and we need to get hawkish on cash. We don't have any more to give. Got to tighten the belts. Problem is, if Democrats were able to win, it's going to be kind of the other thing, right? Unfortunately, we spent all the money. There's nothing else we can do. And if it is a split, then we just have stagnation, right? Until the presidential election. So you still have 2.5 years of hell coming. The problem is this: the eviction moratorium, over. Eviction assistance, money, running out. Soon, evictions are going to skyrocket. Where are you moving to? Where are you going to work? Have you thought about it? I don't think you have. Sucks to be you. It sucks to be you. Here's the thing. We're an individualistic society. Capitalism. Get the bag, right? Problem is, your bag ain't big enough. So what are you going to sacrifice? What goes first? How long do you try to fool yourself into keeping your life the same way that it has been? How long do you do it? How long do you keep going out to eat, going to the club, buying a drink, spoiling your kids? How long? And is it going to be a situation where, I'm going to try to hold on because I don't want the kids to go without. I want them to be happy. I don't want them to understand what we're going through. I want to shield them from that. And while you're doing that, you're not able to take care of the other things. Maybe you're self-medicating to get through so you don't have to think about the reality to the situation. Sucks to be you. We have to radically change our lives. But can we? For our women, you're strong, you're independent. For the men, that's how you're supposed to be. You're a man, right? It's unfortunate. We can't get along. We can peace out at the drop of a dime. No fault divorce. I don't want to deal with the stress. I don't like conflict. I'm out. I could do bad all by myself. I was listening to a preacher say that the other day on the pulpit. And it was in regards to Kevin Samuel's passing, right? Because if he says, hey, I'm going to teach the word and say, well, man and women are supposed to be together, and these are biblical things if you, subscribe to those things. Then why would you be in the church saying you could do bad all by yourself and that you shouldn't be working on yourself so that you can be in partnership? And that goes both ways for the men and the women. We don't know how to deal with conflict. It's tough. It sucks to be you. So you'll hang on. You'll be strong. You'll be stressed. You'll do what you got to do. You'll have your lonely nights. You'll have the times when you feel like everyone is against you. Everything is against you. Everything is going wrong. You'll find different things to blame it on. The problem is these things happen all the time just because of life. It's 2022 and we are in a very unique position. Not only as Americans, but just as humans on this planet. But right now, I'm just focused on us locally. What happens this winter? Do you really think they can put another eviction moratorium in place? Do you really think they're going to forgive debt? Do you really think that there's going to be some type of job creation that's going to pay a livable wage? There's few food shortages all throughout the world. We're watching these things happen. Supply chain issues, right? Now it's baby formula. Don't forget about the bird flu and the millions of chickens that have had to be slaughtered. We're not paying attention. It's NBA playoffs. NFL's right around the corner. Man, turn up. I know y'all waiting for Russell Wilson against the Seahawks, right? Sucks to be you. See, folks are going to be getting evicted. Folks are going to be getting sick. Fall is going to be here before you know it. And just like the Game of Thrones, winter is coming. And here it is, mid-May. I know it's too hard for you to think about what's coming. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to wrap your head around it. It gives you a headache. It stresses you out. You feel hopeless, powerless. There's nothing I can do about it anyway. Doesn't matter who I vote for. Doesn't matter what I really do. I just got to take care of business and try to be as happy as I can. I'm just going to take it one day at a time, 1 minute at a time if I have to. That's a strategy. You can hope and pray. You can pray and hope. Let me ask you something. For those of you that believe in God, you pray and you say, I'm going to pray for you. Well, I'm going to pray about it. And God is all powerful, right? God can do anything. I definitely believe in God. So I want to preface that before my comments. But why does that seem like your prayers aren't enough? Again, I did a show on, faith without work is dead. So you can pray till you're blue in the face. But if you ain't doing nothing, ain't nothing going to happen. You got to take control of your life. I would paint a picture for my students. Say you're on the ocean and you're a boat. The seas are rough. The wind's blowing. And your little boat is just getting pushed to and fro. You're trying to get somewhere and you can't get there because you're fighting everything. The elements, the water. Or you can put your sail up. You can get your oars out. And you can row against the waves. You can sail with the wind. It's going to be hard. It's going to take you a lot of effort and pain. But the hope strategy ain't going to get you where you're trying to go. You cannot wait. You cannot wait. What's interesting is, when you think about the 10 black people that were slaughtered in Buffalo the other day, there are those that have said, politically, oh, my prayers, go out. And a lot of times we're like, you know what, you can keep your damn prayers. Just kind of food for thought. What does prayer actually mean in that regard? Do they actually mean it? Are they sincere? Is it tokenism? Is it what they're just supposed to say? It sucks to be you. Thing is you're too busy to do anything about it, right? It's a tragedy that they were murdered in cold blood. But like I said, Seahawks, baby. Seahawks coming up. Sucks to be you. Could be you. They didn't know it could be them. And yeah, it was a racially motivated hate crime. But violence is up nationwide. Road rage. Folks losing it in grocery stores, on planes. We see it. And do you honestly believe that it's going to get better or get worse as everyone's situation worsens? It's going to get worse. I know you can't think about it. Too hard to plan. It sucks to be you. Right now, while you're hanging on, maybe you even feel like you have some respite. Things are okay for you. Understand there are still more people homeless today than were yesterday. There's more people hungry today than were yesterday. How do you make it so that that's not you? Are you actually doing something about it? Or are you just wishing and praying about it? You figure it out. You actually have a plan. And here's the thing. When you are so sensitive so emotional. And there's nothing wrong with being sensitive and emotional. Don't get me wrong. That's important. But when you are so far where you can't have any effective conflict resolution, when you can't figure it out, there's only so many no's you can give until it's too late. See, we can get so far gone, you can't be saved. So many folks that I've spoken with, people have got their tax returns and, it was hot girl summer. There's no pot to piss in. There's no window to throw it out. There was no investment. There was no savings. Folks are living it up, having a good old time. You ain't paid your rent in 6 months. You ain't paid your rent in 10 months. But you're working. You've got some kind of money coming in. Did you save any? Did you go back to school and learn a trade? If you want to go to school, are you going to be able to make money from that job by the time you get out on the other side? It's one of the things when I first started at OC, it was 2012. And I was an academic advisor. And CSI was really big. And so people would come in and it's like, okay, so what do you want to do? I'm here. I want to go to college. I want to be a CSI, crime scene investigator. I'm like, okay. Have you done any research and looked into it? No. Do you like blood? I don't know about all that. Like math? No. Chemistry? That's what they wanted to do. Some folks come in, they just say, I just want to make a lot of money. Okay. There's nursing, there's welding, there's, all kinds of different things you can do to do that. I haven't really thought it through. Check out the occupational handbook. Look and see if the career that you want to go into has growth, or is it in decline, or is there so much competition, the likelihood that you even get a job here without you having to commute is small, pequeño. Are you going to have to move? Is it going to pay you what you actually need to survive for you or your family? Can you project what rent is going to be by the time you finish school? Have you thought about that? We make these decisions. Say, okay, I want to do this. I want to do that. And we're thinking about what we want today. Some of it is predicated on tomorrow, and it sounds good, but you've heard the stories. It's one of the reasons why they want to do student loan forgiveness, right? And for students that have just graduated, that's who they're talking to. They're not really talking to us in our 50s and 60s, maybe late 40s. They're talking about the ones that just got out, that are working at Starbucks because they can't find a job. Is that going to be you? Are you going to go through 4, 5, 6 years of school? Maybe more because you can't go full time. And by the time you're done, the degree isn't worth the paper it's printed on. Have you thought it out? I've talked with so many people. It sucks to be you. That don't have a plan or don't have a realistic plan. You've got to find your circle. You've got to find your community. And you got to find a community that you can trust and that they can trust you. You have to be a contributor to that community, whatever that community is. as these resources disappear, as it gets harder. You can be out here on the island all by yourself, but I tell you, you are going to suffer in silence. And while there's so many organizations, as I said at the top, while there's so many individuals, while there's so many churches that are going to want to help you, they're not going to be able to help you in the capacity to which you need it, because so many people need the help and they already do. Do we answer the phone every day? Nope. This church doesn't have money to put you up in a motel or a hotel. Nope. This one can't give you gas money. You know, the eviction assistance waiting list was at 500 and something last time we were on the podcast. I don't think that's changed. And I spoke to 4 people today that are probably going to apply for rental assistance now that weren't currently on it or seeking it. You have to have an all of the above strategy. I need you to look down in your immediate. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do tomorrow? I need you to look up. I need you to see what you're going to do in 6 months to a year. And I need you to look far out and project what your life is going to look like in 5 years, 7 years. And if you have children, so help you God, what the hell is their life going to look like? See, it doesn't just suck to be you. It's the same thing for your kids. Sucks to be them. So what's the life that you're going to give them? Are you going to give them a chance? Are you going to shield them as much as possible? Are you going to placate to their every whim and desire? Are you going to prepare them for the harshities of the world? It's a new world. For some, it'd be traditional, right? Junior high, high school, play on sports, play instruments, go to college, network, get a job after, do okay. There will be some, that's their experience. But for most of us, that's not going to be the reality, right? And many of us already believe this is kidnap county. So your kids are already in prison with no hope of escape. Sucks to be them. What's the opportunity? What are you going to do? What is your plan? What's the hard decision that you need to make? What are you willing to dedicate yourself to that you haven't already? What are you willing to sacrifice? And I mean sacrifice. A lot of us think that we are sacrificing, but we're in, what we say, first world problems. Many of us don't know the meaning of actual sacrifice. You had kids. Are you really sacrificing? You had kids. That's what it is, right? So, do you get a cookie because you went without? No. You know how I feel about Mother's Day and Father's Day. But I hear it all the time, right? Sacrifice for my kids so my kids can have this, can have that. And the question is, are you actually destroying your children? You think you might be helping them and shielding from it. I was having a conversation with another single father. And it's like, okay, so at what point do we start to take the blindfold off and expose our daughters to the world? We take the rose-colored lenses off and prepare our little girls for the harshities of the world. What are the lessons that we need to teach? How do we teach them, at least for me, how to be in relationship? Because that's going to be important, right? The worst thing that I can do is teach her to be strong and independent, make her a strong, Black, independent woman. I can do bad all by myself, because that's exactly what she'll be, is all by herself. See, I'm not going to be here forever. And it's not likely that I will be. Even if I look at the life expectancy of a Black man, oh, maybe I've got 24 years if I'm super lucky. That's if there's no car accidents or, violence, health issues. Well, she'll only be 34. Will it suck to be her? Will it suck to be your kids? Will you have given them a silver spoon where they don't know how to do? They feel entitled. Instant gratification. You have instant gratification. You want it now. You did it for 1 week and now you want a cookie. You want a pat on the back because I sacrificed for 1 week. I got up, I'm walking outside. I'm in week 2, It's like, oh, yeah, look at me. Day 1. Oh, okay. I'm glad I made it through day 1. Up, day 2. Whoop, whoop, hit the horn. Uh-oh. I'm got a blister on my foot. I think I might have to take a break. Oh, no, I didn't walk during the day. I walked in the evening. Give myself the horn. I think I done something, right? That's how a lot of us think. Oh, pat ourselves on the back. We did it. Ain't good enough. Not even close. Not even close. They say 21 days. And you still got to do it because you're going to face adversity, sickness, weather, whatever it is, schedule. Are you still going to be able to be consistent in doing what you need to do? Are you going to be able to make the lifestyle change that you have to do? See, I think one of the biggest issues that we have is we can't work together. Can't figure it out. It's just easier to back away, do your own thing. Because I don't need to deal with that. Just adding to all the stress that I have now. But I encourage you to build your arc, to build your team, because you're going to need it. You're going to need it. And I'm not saying to allow people to walk over you and just take whatever. But you do need to have a conversation. You do need to find out how to have a conversation and work through the tough times. Because if you think that you're stressed now and 22 is bad, 24 about to be a whole hell of a lot worse. Before COVID and everything else, they're already projecting food shortages. This pandemic isn't even over. Right? It's going back up. And yeah, sure, it is not as murderous, deadly as the other variants, but people are still getting sick. People still are dying. And you know what? If you have to take off work because you're sick and you need to work every hour, because even when you work 40 or 50, it still ain't enough. You can't afford to get sick. Didn't even think about that, right? Get out there, get your job. You'll be able to be consistent. When I was teaching and advising, students would come in Say, Mr. Cameron, I know what I want to do. I want to do this. I'm going into business management, going into nursing. I'm going into whatever. And they would start. And they were excited, right? They were fed up with their life. They were ready for a change, right? So they'd start on their journey, fill out their FAFSA, get their financial aid, buy their books, have a little bit of money left over. They're all excited. They're like, hey, I'm a college student. I'm doing my thing. Yeah. 2 quarters in, that little extra money after the fast was gone, it ain't enough. You got bills. You can't turn up, starving student, that's a real thing. You can't make ends meet. And it's like, man, I'm in quarter 2. I didn't even place into college math. I didn't even place into college English. So I got all these other courses on top of all the other stuff that I got to do. And I probably need a 4-year degree, not even a 2-year degree. So it's probably going to be like 5 or 6 years before I'm out there in the workforce. Oh, okay. And what do they tell me? They come and they say, Mr. Cameron, Mr. C, man, I need money now. All right, so why don't you go into student employment? Well, still not enough, right? So they leave school and they go back in the workforce and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna just go and take this job really quick. I'm gonna do this, catch up a little bit. There's a wedding down in California with my brother, so I want to go and do that. Or this is happening. This special occasion is happening. I got, Christmas is coming up. I want to have some extra money for the kids. Whatever the case may be, right? I've heard it all. So they go back out into the workforce and they're gone. And the problem is they start making that money and they're dependent on that money, right? And now they're on that hamster wheel and they can't get off because they know if they hop back off, they go back to college, there's no money, right? But there's no opportunity for growth because it's a job. It ain't a career. See, so many of us are in jobs and not careers. And we're fooling ourselves because cashing that check feels good, right? Releases those endorphins to deposit it. Get that cash out. So they're gone. Year and a half. And they come back in. They tried to come back for 2 and 3 quarters previous. They just couldn't figure out how to get off. But they finally get to the point where it's like, I can't take it anymore. I'm ready. Just like I was a year and a half ago, and they come back in and I'm still there. Hey, Mr. C. Hey, how you doing? How's it been? Oh, it's been good, but I'm ready to go back to school now. Can you help me get back in and do what I gotta? Yeah. All right. And they get back in. And then they're kicking themselves because they're watching. And what happened all the time, especially like in business management. I'd have a student that started at the same time that's in their last year and someone else that only finished a quarter and a half. They might even be reinstating. And they happen to be in the same class because the way the schedules work. Or maybe they're taking a 2-credit, customer service course. And they're sitting there watching someone who's like, I got 2 quarters left and I graduate. And they're like, damn, I put off a year and a half and I still got 2.5 to 3 years before I graduate. Because they couldn't hold the line. They couldn't keep to what they set out to do. They couldn't build that habit. They couldn't figure it out. And part of it is because they didn't actually plan. It was desire. It was hope. It was faith. But the work wasn't there. So it didn't work out. They weren't ready to sacrifice. And it ain't even like it is now. This wasn't 2008 during the housing crisis. This is 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Sucks to be you. I implore you. Please plan ahead. Yeah, your plan may not work out. I tell you that I do not lose. I win or I learn. But the thing that I'm not afraid to do is try. Start a company, start a nonprofit, start a podcast. I've told you so many times, people are like, why would you do that? Why would you waste your money on people you don't know? Those people need to pull themselves up from their bootstraps. They don't care about you. And some of them don't. I mean, we've been called the N-word by clients we pick up. We've heard and seen it all. Why would you do that? Why don't you just take care of you and your daughter? Go use your timeshare, travel the world, have experiences. Why make yourself vulnerable? I am not even inoculated with all the crap that's coming on. Stupid. Well, people need help. They need help. And I get so tired. I tell folks, I see the matrix in people. I see their potential, even when they don't see the potential in themselves. It's like if I could just plug a USB into your head and just download to you, and so you could get it. But folks are from Missouri. They're from the show me state. They got to figure it out for themselves. They got to make the mistakes. They want to make the mistakes. Like I know what you're saying, and you might be right. But you know what? I got to figure it out because there's a chance it could work. And you don't know, right? You become the enemy. You don't know, right? And it is true. There are multiple ways to do things. But so many of us are playing life on hard mode. And there's no sticker for it. I tell students, you can make your situation as hard as you want. I'm not going to study. I haven't had to study. I just cram at the end and I'm able to pull it out. And you watch the stress. Or they slack and they're like, Mr. C, is there extra credit that I can do to bring my grade up? I'm on, I got the GI Bill and, I can't be failing classes. Is there anything I can do? And I tell them I hate extra credit. I abhor it because if you just did what was assigned, you wouldn't need extra credit. Extra credit should be for you to challenge yourself beyond the curriculum that is set for you. I hated extra credit. But you tried to figure it out, right? You wanted to play life on hard mode. You wanted to play it fast and loose. You wanted to do it your way. You didn't like what you hear. Kids do that, right? Mommy, can I have such and such? Nope. Go ask your dad. Daddy, can I? Nope. Go ask your mom. Mom said no. Well, then the answer is no. We adults are good for that. You go and talk to a counselor, they tell you one thing. You go and talk to your girlfriends, they tell you another thing. You go talk to your homies, they tell you another thing. You go talk to an advisor, they tell you another thing. And you're just trying to wait to hear something that sounds good to you that you want to do. Nah, I don't want to do that. I mean, yeah, it sounds good, but I don't want to do it like that. Let me go see what these people have to say. Oh, yeah, just don't worry about it. You're doing the best you can. Just pat yourself on the back. You're doing a good job. You're playing the cards that were dealt to you the best way that you can. Okay, you can listen to that. Sucks to be you. See, because them people aren't paying your bills. Those folks ain't going to keep your lights on. Those people aren't going to make sure that you get to work. Right? They're there for their hour to pay you the attention based on, counseling is really good, and I encourage it. But even through that, you have to have the power of discernment. Counseling was never designed for it to be a lifetime endeavor. Same with medication. Folks, 600 people on the wait list for eviction assistance. Over 2,000 people signing up for Section 8. People that have never signed up before signing up. I didn't even know that single individuals, adults without kids, could actually sign up for Section 8. You know how many people that have signed up for Section 8 that are single adults? It's amazing. And the thing is most of them will never see a voucher. They'll never see it. See, because there's already a waiting list. That's the truth. So by the time they open this one and they random sort it, and maybe you win the lottery, when is that going to be? 2025, 2026, 2027, 2032? I've watched it. I've watched so many people get eviction assistance and feel like they didn't have to reinvent themselves during that time, that they were getting the reprieve. They didn't have to figure out how to change their lives. And I don't mean just going to school or vocational. That's, to me, is at the bottom. Did you actually work on yourself? Do you really have a plan? What happens next time? Are you watching? Are you paying attention? Even if we want to help you, we are not going to be able to help you. It's going to get to a point we're not going to be able to do it. Everywhere you look, oh, there's new construction. And a good portion of that new construction is what? Storage units. Why? Because you need a place to put your stuff, because you can't live where you live in. Many of us ain't going to be in the same space next year. That's facts. That's the truth. And where are you going? Are you moving out into a cheaper unit? Who are you moving in with? Even if you tried, can the two of you actually get along? How long is it until you're at each other's throat and you destroy another relationship? Sucks to be you. It's a wake-up call. I get it. Basketball is here. Still baseball season. We'll have the World Series here in October. NFL. Whatever it is that you're into. Hey, they're shooting at McLeod's. It's getting tough. They're hitting weed shops. What are you going to do? And I get it. It's hard. It hurts. You don't want to think about it. Maybe you don't even know how to start planning. The big issue with a lot of Americans. We don't want to be held accountable. We damn sure don't want to hear the hard truth. We don't want to hear the hard truth. You can't handle the truth. You don't want to hear the truth. You don't want to be held accountable. You don't want to have to change. I shouldn't have to do this. You hear these things, right? I shouldn't have to do this. It's 2022. Yeah, it is. And the year matters not for your situation. What are you going to do about it? We are rich and organizations here. There are other agencies that, let's say, dump their homeless here, encourage folks that need resources to come here. We have people that come from out of state to this state because it's so resource rich compared to where they were. And there are thousands of people that would tell you right here in the county, yeah, it ain't so good. It ain't so hot. Even with the 70 plus bed Pendleton Place and increasing capacity at the rescue mission and the respite beds that are being built in the old rescue mission and the Salvation Army, it's not enough. It's not enough. Recession, what does that mean? Are companies going to continue to make profits? Oh, yeah, the big ones, but you don't work for a big one. You work for a small one, and they're going to have to lay people off. And when they lay people off, right, because they're going to hold the line for as long as possible, because oftentimes they do the same thing, right? They don't want to lay you off now. They're hoping to keep it going. But at some point, they're going to have to make that decision. We're going to have to cut in order to stay open. So when you lose your job and there's no eviction assistance, and you already hadn't been paying your rent and you've missed over the last few years, and your relationship with your landlord ain't great, you got to go. And where are you going? See, there are people that have vouchers right now that can't find a place to stay. They're holding gold in their hand. I got a voucher that's going to pay $1,900 a month. They can't find a place. You can't even make $1,900 a month, let alone everything that you need to get your ass to work and back and do all the other things that you need to do. Sucks to be you. What is your plan? And I'm going to tell you what, rioting in the streets ain't going to fix your situation. It damn sure isn't going to curry favor with those that make the decisions. The best thing that you can do is get involved from a political aspect. Learn who makes policy, how policy is made, how to run so that you can enact the change that you want to see. But see, you've been too busy. You ain't got time for that. You got to have fun too, right? Work-life balance. Self-care. I don't know what that self-care is going to be on the street. Or worse. It's so interesting. We're in this time where, if we think about the pioneers, how hard folks had to work when we were in an agrarian society, planting crops, picking crops, tending to the livestock, and doing all the things in between. And now we want a 4-day work week. We want to get paid more. Well, where are the small companies going to get the money from? Because everything is more expensive, right? Gas is expensive. Food is expensive. Materials are expensive. But you want them to pay you more. With what? We're just being realistic here, right? We're just being real. Do the math. Think about it. You could be mad at the companies when they lay you off and when they fire you. But did they really have a choice? Are you going to tell them that they should have taken less profits? And again, I'm not talking about the big organizations. I'm talking about just the regular businesses. And some will have survivor's remorse, right? It happened while I was working for the Navy. And they laid off a bunch of people. They were having conversations about the survivor remorse, which is kind of a crazy thing, right? Here you are, you got to keep your job, but you feel like crap because you're there and your colleagues are gone. And it's like, well, if you got remorse, how the hell do you think they feel? They don't know what the hell they're going to do. It is May 19th. Winter is coming. It sucks to be you, so I hope you figure it out. I really do. Pick a plan and follow the plan. If the plan doesn't work, modify the plan. And if that doesn't work, then do something else. But actually pour your heart and soul into it. But think about it. Take the emotion out of it. I was telling someone the other day, you think about Donald Trump and other rich people who have had these businesses and have had to claim bankruptcy, right? They don't look at it as an emotional thing. It's a vehicle that they can use to restructure their companies. Oftentimes, they'll claim bankruptcy, open up a new company, and do the same thing under a different name. Restructure their debt. But many of us, we take pride in being able to pay our bills. I pay my bills. I tip. I'm a good tipper. And we will fall on our sword paying our bills through emotion and not making decisions that are more business minded. Now, I've watched people hold on to things for as long as they could while the world is crashing around them. And then they lose everything when they could have salvaged it. What do you have to do? What is your situation? Your situation may not be ideal, but it may be the situation that you need to be in. What are the blessings? What are the opportunities that exist because you're in that situation now? How can you take advantage of it and use your time wisely to plan your next course of action? What does it look like on the other side? I run a podcast and I hope at some point in time it can monetize itself. But I realize I don't do a show that has hundreds of people that are going to want to tune in and listen to the doom and gloom and the truth. So I may not have 20,000, 5,000 subscribers. So how am I going to monetize it? What am I going to do? I got to think about that. Right? Yeah, think about that before I started it. I got to think about that while I'm doing it. I got to think about what are the different chains of revenue that I can create from doing this. Can I take constructive criticism and still keep it what it's supposed to be? I shout out to Roosevelt Smith. If you haven't seen his exhibit at the museum downtown, you really should check it out. He, Okuye, and a few others, they carry the Black history of Kitsap County. They are so full of knowledge, stories of history. And the tragedy is they're going to die. And they're going to take so much with them. Who is coming behind them to preserve that information, that history? For the way they tell it, we were enslaved and then it was 2022. There's so much history. There's so much history in Kitsap County. They tell me stuff and, I'm just like, keep telling me. This is crazy. This is awesome. Who's going to carry that on? Who is the next teachers? And so I'm having a conversation with them, and he's saying, you need to talk with this person's daughter and this person's daughter. This was the first black firefighter, and this was the first black this and this and that. And he's just telling me all these things. I'm like, man, amazing. Yeah, I'll interview these people. And I wanted to give him his flowers while we were here. We say that all the time. Most times we wait and it's too late. They're gone. I'm like, man, I just want to say that I appreciate that you would take this on. No one told you that you had to do that. No one told you that you had to be the preserver of our history here in Kitsap County. And he takes a lot of bullets and he takes a lot of heat. Okuye takes a lot of heat. And he said, oh, he was touched by that. He's like, I really appreciate that. And then he stopped. And he says to me, and I'm summarizing, no, I want to thank you. What you're doing is tremendously powerful. And I'm like, slack-jawed. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, you are capturing our history in a way that others will be able to access it. And I appreciate you for that. This was 2 days ago. It's a really profound conversation that I had with him. And I think about, silly Cameron's Kitchen on Fridays. We cooking and drinking and having a good time. I think about the housing show. It's a good show. It gives out information, Some of the other conversations that I have and the other shows that I do. I hadn't really thought about it in that way. I was like, oh shit. Damn. Okay. Okay. I got to keep doing this. I've got to find a way to make sure that this thing is resilient enough that I can keep capturing the history, to capture what happens today that will be history tomorrow. So it gave me a different insight on the conduit itself. It's bigger than me. It ain't even about me. We did the first African American Veterans Recognition and Award Show last year. That was a powerful event. We awarded a lot of Black veterans here in Kitsap County. We've covered a lot of events over the last year. And still, I never really looked at it in that way. Like, this ain't about me. This is something else. This has to happen. This has to happen. I don't know this stuff, and I've been here since 97. There's so many people in my age group that don't know. Probably many of them don't give a damn. There are those in their 30s and 20s that don't know it. And their family members are the people that the history came from. And I think about our children. What are they supposed to know if we're not the ones that teach them? Because the world is going to teach them all kinds of crap. And we expose them to so much poison every day. And we are the parents, right? It's our job to teach them something else, to show them something else, to show them what work ethic looks like, to show them what drive is, to be intrinsically motivated, not extrinsically motivated from the outside, but from the inside. What delayed gratification looks like, to do something even though it's thankless, that you're alone. If people look at you like, man, why don't you just give up? Won't no one blame you? You say, you don't understand. This is what I'm supposed to do. And it may not end the way that I want, or the damn sure the way that you think it should. And it probably ain't going the way you think it should, but this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm going to fight to stay here, because that's my journey. That's my mission. And I'd love for you to join me in it. But whether you show up or not, I got to keep going. And my hope for you is that something touches you in that way. Even if it's your own life. Because again, it sucks to be you unless you get a plan and you work that plan. You can't have it the way that you want. Life is not Burger King. You don't get it your way. You're not going to get it half your way. I can tell you, my life doesn't look like how I planned it, how I envisioned it in my 20s or my 30s. But damn, when I say I'm blessed and highly favored, salud. It don't suck to be me. I want that for you. But you got to get ready. I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. You know who I am. You know what I'm about. I know I say things that will piss people off. You might even turn away from me. I hope I planted a seed that will germinate and grow in your life. I hope that my voice will forever echo in your brain. Like that damn Mr. C. It does for so many folks. So crazy, man. Cover the Tara Simmons event the other day. See one of my old students out there. The next day, one of my drivers says, hey, one of your old students said to tell you that they love you and they appreciate you. And then I'm at the church today, and another one of my old students walks into the church to volunteer. I know what the hell I'm doing. Do you? All right, y'all. I'm Marwan Cameron. This is The Conduit. Don't let it suck to be you. Figure it out.